Hey folks, just a warning before we get into the episode that this episode will contain some spoilers of the game we're playing. So if that's something that you want to avoid, maybe come back to it once you finished it. If not, then stay tuned and we hope you like.
Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Play Along Podcast, the podcast where we play through games. I am your host, Jared, and I am joined, as always, by my other two beautiful hosts, Kai and Ben. How are you guys doing today?
We're dope.
Pause for card.
I'm assuming Kai's dope because we spent like 10 minutes talking politics before the show, and I know you did.
Yeah, we're recording at a reasonable time. It's 12 in the afternoon here in sunny Los Angeles, California.
Kai and I are like dressed. I mean, I'm just wearing a t-shirt, but
I've showered.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing well.
Never ask what is under the camera. All you see is a t-shirt, and that's what. Sometimes the people who I record with don't even see t-shirts on me. So, you know.
Ooh, dang. So, and some of us aren't so lucky. Some of us are blessed with seeing Ben.
My life changed that day. I'm gonna be honest.
You're never gonna be the same after that. You guys are doing good though.
Yeah. I told you we went axe throwing. Me, my dad, my brother.
Nice.
Fucking brilliant. It was really good. And there was these like people there with us that was celebrating their 65th birthday of like one of the women there.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
we were just throwing knives and axes with a bunch of OAPs. It was fucking brilliant.
I've never been.
They were the nicest people. Do you know what?
Been.
It's actually really fun. It's a lot harder than you'd think, but it is a lot of fun.
Kai, have you been?
I mean, not officially.
I've thrown
axes.
Not in a safe environment.
I grew up going to the fucking forest and doing all sorts of crazy shit, but
Kai used to throw things at me. He's thrown arrows at me before and almost made me lose an eye.
That is a real story that happened.
Yeah. Oh shit!
Unsupervised children in the woods is always dangerous.
I've seen Stand By Me. I know what happens.
we were about 2 inches away from a Stand By Me moment of me trying to hide Jared's body.
There was
in the wood.
Yeah, exactly. There was a big chance that in this podcast I could be wearing an eye patch right now or have a fake eye. Like
first mistake,
like a big boss eye patch though. Like
exactly.
Yeah. First mistake. My parents allowed us to watch the movie Troy. It was a fantastic movie, but it's very violent. Movie. Yeah. Second mistake is they were like, "Now get out of the house. You've been inside because you've watched Troy." And so then we were like, we're going to reenact this. Third mistake is I had access to weaponry.
Yeah.
Fourth mistake is I'm a fucking god. And from about 20 feet away, hand threw an arrow directly in between Jared's eyes.
It literally hit me between the eyes and I started bleeding. And his parents was not happy about that.
No.
Oh, my Lord. I mean, we did some dumb shit when I was a kid. Like
but never that stupid.
Like we would reenact. I mean, the dumbest it got was we would reenact wrestling, and where I used to live, we used to do it outside on the grass. So we'd be like power bombing people on the grass. It fucking hurt.
Suplexing each other into the ground.
So there was like one of the blocks near where we lived. It had like a bin room that you could climb up the outside of and onto the roof. It was probably about 15 feet up. And one of the guys somehow, to this day, I don't know how, managed to convince one of the other guys to let him choke slam him off of this 15-foot bin room. And he did, and the dude hit the floor, and the dude didn't move. And we was all like, oh, I think he's dead, oh dear. He was just extremely winded. He was, luckily, I don't know how, but by the grace of some superior being, he was okay. But yeah,
it's bounced back.
Yeah,
a lot.
You want to injure yourself when you're young, and it will heal quickly. Because when you get to my age and you're old, things don't heal quickly.
Bro, you're like a couple years older than us.
Bro, I'm 30 in 8 months.
I'm
30 in like 2.5 years.
I'm 30 in 5 years. Growing up in the UK, did you have like access to like BB guns and airsoft rifles?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Yeah.
Unofficially, no, but officially, like we could do, yeah.
Okay.
Bro, they were like selling that stuff on like markets
exactly.
where we lived.
In the most American way possible. A lot of my childhood, I had some form of weaponry in my hand, and a lot of my early childhood memories are getting violently attacked by people with airsoft rifles. Like the first time I went over to a very close friends of mine, that small girl, yes, we were hiding in a like little bush area by my house as a child, and maybe a, what do you think, 8, 11, somewhere in there.
8-year-old.
Fully automatic airsoft rifle from maybe 10 feet away just started unloading into us. That was an experience.
Wow.
But the first time I ever went over to one of my very close friends' house, who we're still friends with to this day, his brother took a German-made full metal airsoft rifle, and literally I had to dive behind a group of boxes at his front door because his brother wouldn't let me in the house without shooting me with the airsoft rifle. And that was one of my first experiences going over to his house.
We do, like guns, like BB guns and air guns and stuff. They're a bit harder to get hold of in the UK.
As they should be.
mainly where I live. Like if you go to like rural UK, they're a lot more sort of lenient with their like shotgun licenses and stuff like that. Like, so.
Yeah, where's our weak background check for those BB guns? It's really necessary.
You wonder why we have a gun problem? Do you know how many airsoft guns I had as a kid? I looked like when in movies they show like the spy lair. There's just like fucking
like a wall of like airsoft
like a
guns.
wall. Yeah,
bro. In the UK, to get an airsoft, like we went to the Axrone today, and they do archery, crossbows, and airsoft as well. They have some live ammunition. Like they only go up to.
Oh, interesting.
They only go up to a .22 caliber, which is like fuck all, really. Like they're fucking tiny. And so even to just get like an airsoft rifle, you need to supply your photo ID. They take a copy of your photo ID. They take the serial number of the gun, like everything.
You don't need shit here. Like, you want a gun?
Hilarious. Yeah.
Fucking, it's Ellen DeGeneres.
We were buying airsoft guns as 13-year-olds at swap meets.
Nothing says American like coming out of the womb and shooting a doctor with a BB gun. Like that's just that's pure blood in America.
I remember one of my first Christmas presents. I think I was maybe like 5 or 6. My grandfather got me a like shooting gallery, like full-size shooting gallery with a like so it had this like 6 revolver pistol that shot like these projectiles, and it had this whole like can set up, and that was like one of the first things I remember. One of the first things I did as a child was learn how to shoot a gun.
Shoot guns. Yep.
Mate, the closest we got was we had like guns with like people in the UK will know what I'm talking about, like plastic caps with like really tiny amounts of gunpowder on.
Oh, there's like little popping things and everything.
Yeah, that was the closest we got. That was the closest we got.
I know it may be hard to believe, but we do talk about video games here. Not guns on
Jared, how are you? Are you good? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I like our little like banter that we had before the podcast. You know, I'm hyped up. I'm ready to talk about games and guns.
You missed orange shirt.
Still trying to get this back on topic.
Yeah. One day we're gonna do an episode about the man who only wore orange t-shirts for 3 years.
I am gonna close my window because apparently they are manufacturing steel outside. I don't know
exactly.
While he's doing that, you tell him who we are, Jared.
Yeah, if you don't know, if this is your first episode, what an interesting episode. Exactly, what an interesting episode to start with. We're Play Along Podcast, a podcast that plays through games. What we do is each week we will come together and discuss the games that we are playing. We will each take turns choosing a game. We'll then break that game into sections, and then we'll come together, recant the narrative. We'll talk about gameplay. We'll talk about mechanics. And at the end of each episode, we'll kind of see how we're feeling at the end of that section and how we're feeling about the game at that point. If that sounds interesting to you, follow us on social media. Our link tree is anywhere where you found our podcast. Stay tuned with all the games that we're playing and stay up to date with what we're playing through each week. Also, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, because it makes us happy and it makes more people able to listen to our podcast, and we get to appease the almighty algorithm overlords that we all.
Look, guys, let's be honest, right? We want to do this for a fucking living at some point. To be able to do that, we need to have an audience, right? And we can't have an audience without the algorithm on our side. So if you like what we do, let the algorithm know that we do the good stuff, and the algorithm will tell other people.
The Lord's work, as some might say.
Yeah, it is truly magic. Nobody understands the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. The algorithm does not stop or go for anybody. It has its own will, and we're just trying to ride this wave as best as possible. But yes, we are currently playing through the Quarry, and if you missed the last episode, it was a long one. It was a lot of technical issues on our side, and just a lot of world building. Like the
Riverside.
Yeah, exactly. We're sorry we've ever tarnished the name of Zencaster, because we've made full circle back, and
we came back with our towel between our legs and begged,
please take us back. We're sorry for ever talking shit.
Yeah, you thought that bitch was better, huh? Then she gave you herpes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, in the last episode, we started the Quarry. We got introduced to kind of the world and the cast, like we were saying. A lot of world building was done in those episodes. And then today we're going to be covering chapters 3 and chapters 4. As we kind of hinted to in the last episode, or rather kind of not prophesized, but we thought like, okay, after this chapter, after chapter 2, things were going to start like picking up a little bit. And they do. That's exactly what happens. Exactly.
It doesn't pick up, man. It's like, you know, on a roller coaster where shit's going up and you're waiting for the drop. Like, the beginning of chapter 3, the first like 15 minutes is like that bit just before the drop, and then it just goes. And the next two chapters are just fucking action.
Yep. It just goes and goes.
It's not what you thought when you first began.
So we ended the last chapter with the gang playing Truth or Dare, and Abigail running into the woods upset because Emma kissed Nick. Nick is the guy that Abigail likes, to make Jacob jealous. Jacob and Emma were in a relationship previously.
Can I ask a question really quick? I'm not trying to derail, but I'm genuinely curious. And if people are listening, they can let us know on the socials as well. Have you guys ever played a game of Truth or Dare that hasn't ended badly in some way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? Every game of Truth or Dare I've played has like unearthed some like deep, like some band-aid that was covering something has been ripped off and has caused a rift in a group. Or we've never gone to the point of like people kissing one another, but some shit has come up that someone didn't know and it has pissed somebody off.
No, our Truth or Dare games are pretty civil.
Mate, maybe we just go too hard in the UK. I don't know what's like.
A lot of my Truth or Dare games were centered around only young boys, so
that's fair. Yeah,
only young boys who are very, repressed sexually. So it's
not only repressed sexually, but repressed like emotionally. They're not going to like talk into deep topics. We're going to be like, "Is it true that you ate dirt once?" And we're like,
also, it's always there too, so that helps a lot because, it's like, "Oh, Truth or Dare," and I'm like, "Dare," and they're like, "Eat a banana with mustard on it." Like,
yes, exactly. Like drink a jar of pickle juice or something like that. That was our like dares.
It never gets a little tummy ache, and you play like 7 hours of Mario Party. And that's
exactly. It never gets to the like, I dare you to like French John, and you're like, oh man, it's kind of cute, but like,
I don't know if I'm there yet with John.
Yeah.
Growing up, there was only one female in our group. Well, at least in my younger years, and she was the older sister of one of my friends, and I was mortified of her because she was a pretty girl, and I could barely talk to her. So no Truth or Dare was ever going to happen where I was like,
okay, right. That's the forbidden fruit, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you are a foreign species. I'm not even going to engage with you. I don't.
Like poking her with a stick from afar, and you're like, this is fascinating.
Exactly.
What you're crazy. But yes, Abigail runs into the forest, upset that her best friend has now made out with the guy that she likes, because they didn't just kiss, they went for it. And you're playing as Abigail, kind of walking through the forest, and this is actually where we've got our first tarot card, which
this one was impossible to miss.
Well, yeah, but this is how we've seen them, because we've seen a couple after that. They've all been very blatant. When you're walking through the forest, there's an immediate camera shift, and it shifts to a different perspective of like up in the high trees looking down at Abigail. So she's walking through this forest, and you see a tarot card on the side of this tree. So from how you saw yours, or was yours different when you found them last episode?
No, that was how I found them. The one that my brother found was like a low camera shot that was looking up at somebody who was walking in the background of the cabin. And so from what I understand, they are basically in set locations that you have to walk near that will then change that camera angle. So, like for instance, in here, you find a tarot card because you have to walk down that path. There's only one set path in the forest.
Right.
But later on, I found another tarot card. I found 2 in this section, and that was because there was a branch in the forest, and I went down one of the branches that turned out to be like a dead end or something. But I found that tarot card because of the angle.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, when we saw it the first time, it was just so like mind-boggling that we had missed them the first 2 chapters. Because obviously, after every chapter, you met with the tarot card lady, who then shames you for not being able to find her cards and saying like, "If help me, help you" kind of situation. And it's like with these very obvious camera angles and like, here's this card, you think that we would have seen them before. But I guess you're right. If there is kind of branching paths, or if you're not exploring every section of the game, then I guess then you can easily miss those.
Yeah, it's similar to complete throwback, but it's similar to like Batman. I think it's like Arkham City with the Riddler trophies.
Never played it.
Oh, okay. Well, so essentially in Arkham City, it's like a big map, and you have to explore every inch of that map to find all these Riddler trophies, and they'll be in plain view, but like round the back of something that you didn't think to look around the back of and stuff like that. Just while we're on the topic of the tarot lady, because we don't have a need to talk about her, we've discussed her, what she does, her purpose. You get a tarot card, she shows you a prophecy. Interestingly, I got 2 tarot cards in the same chapter, and if you get 2, she says to you, yeah, exactly. I didn't know if you guys have come across that. She makes you choose which one you get, and you choose. I had the stars and the tower.
Yeah,
I think we got the same thing in this section.
Yeah,
too,
and she made bullshit. She made me pick one. Yeah, it is a little bit bullshit, but it's like, I guess it's trying to play into that idea that like, because I mean, tarot cards are all to do with, you know, supposedly reading the future and seeing what's coming and understanding someone on like a spiritual level and understanding their journey. So I guess the idea, it makes sense, but at the same point, it's like, bitch, I found 2 of your tarot cards. Like, fucking show me both.
So which one did you choose?
I chose the star.
We chose the tower.
We chose the tower.
I don't remember what I saw.
I think it's interesting too, because it's I feel like it's different than Until Dawn's, like, you know, depiction of this, like, you know, prophecies.
They had like totems, didn't they?
Right. But when they showed it to you, I feel like it was a little more clear as what was happening in Until Dawn. You know, there was even scenes of people dying and like dying in certain ways, which maybe that's the case here. I'm not sure. But with ours, it's like a vague, fuzzy clip. I think ours was a showing of Emma, and she had like a gun in her hand, but that was it. They're very fuzzy, and they're very hard to kind of make out what's happening.
This was the problem with my one, is when I picked the star, because it goes across to a crystal ball, and you watch it in this cloud in the crystal ball. But in mine, it was lots of like, this is a really weird reference. Some people might understand it, but it was like a fucking Edgar Wright shot. Like, it was like boom, 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 boom. There was like 6 things happening.
Yeah, it was similar.
And I was like, was that Jacob? That looked like Jacob, but it could have been Nick. Like, I didn't know who was who.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to go back and rewatch them. I know in Until Dawn, you could go into the menu and watch the totems. I personally haven't found a way to rewatch these prophecies in this game, but I also haven't looked for it. So
Right. Yeah. We continue walking through the forest as Abigail, changing different camera scenes and kind of hearing rustling, and we every now and then shift to this perspective that looks like it's of the creature, which we will now know after this is like, oh, that's the perspective. It's all blue. It has like the weird veins on it and everything. But Nick has followed us into the forest to try to, you know, make amends for what had happened. One of the first choices here too is he's calling for you, and you can decide not to call back or to call back. I think we called for him. We called out into the forest, Nick, and then we eventually met.
I didn't, because Abigail's walking along and she hears that whispering that we had before, where the person's like Silas. She's like, Abigail. And so when I had the chance to call out, I was like, no, fuck that, man. Like, I've seen shit in these games. I know how this shit goes. I'm not calling back. it is unfortunate that so you guys called out, which means Nick came straight to you.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So in my one, I ignored him, and then you keep walking through and you hear it again, and you get the option to either follow the voice or to hide. So I hid, which kind of further cemented this idea of like, oh shit, something is after me. But it actually turns out it's just Nick. Nick comes out through the bush and it's just like, oh, I found you. Oh my god. So you end up in the same scenario of being reunited with Nick, but just in a different way.
Well, it's fascinating too, because it would have been interesting to see like if you kept following the voice, what would happen there. But
I'd assume it just. I think everything leads back to Nick because of what happens in later on in the chapter.
Right. Yeah. So we eventually meet back up with Nick. We both sit down on like this piece of wood. It might have been the same place when she was drawing the sunset. It kind of looked like it was that area, but I'm not sure.
It's that area. It is literally that neck of the woods.
Good. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, they talk. Nick kind of half apologizes for what he does, because he does make a comment of something like, oh yeah, like Emma's tongue was in my throat and she was doing a good job, or some shit like that, like digging himself further into the hole. Yeah, digging himself further into the hole. There's a prompt that says kiss, that you can kiss Nick with playing as Abigail. We decided to kiss him. They kind of make amends. They kiss.
Yeah,
I did more thing.
Yeah, I was going to say I did the same thing. So you have a choice between, he asks why you left, and you can either skirt around it or be up front. Yeah. And I was just like, no, I want to know why he did this to my girl. Like, what's going on? And so he just like puts it on, and he basically says that he knew Emma wanted to make Jacob jealous, so he just kind of went along with it. And then I was direct and sort of very upfront with him, and like you said, they kind of made amends. So I chose for them to kiss as well, because it just kind of, it seemed like, I don't know, it's that weird part in a relationship where it's like, you know, they're not technically exclusive, so like it's that moral thing. Like, has he done anything wrong? Like,
they're both interested in each other, but they've never been like, hey, let's be in a couple and in a relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Jacob's also a little bitch, so making him upset, it's kind of understandable.
It is. Yeah. That's I mean, fair. as the third party, it is kind of fun to make Jacob upset. Right, exactly. I ended up feeling bad for him later on, but we'll get to that. But yes, I did have Abigail and Nick kiss. Yeah.
As they're kissing, they again start hearing rustling and growling that's happening, and again they're in the same area, so they think like, oh, it's the boar. The boar is back. As they kind of walk towards and kind of skirt around this sound, this creature jumps out of the bushes and lunges at them, and it eventually does attack Nick. And when I first saw this, I was like, oh, you were talking about like skinwalkers and stuff in the last episode. Like, that's what this is. Like, that's what
it's a fucking skinwalker, man. And so that's also part of the reason why I didn't follow the voice, right? Because anyone who is it that Appalachia Woods? Is that a place you guys have? Appalachia Woods? Yeah. Yes, the Appalachian Woods, yeah. So they're supposed to be where these skinwalkers are. And there's a big fin in the Appalachian Woods where it's like, if you hear somebody calling you, somebody who you like know calling you, no, you didn't. You don't follow it. That's like that. Not something you do, because that's part of what these skinwalkers do. Allegedly, is that they attract people to them, kind of like a siren, and they have you come to them and then they ambush you. So when I got the option to follow the voice, I was like, mate, if this is a skinwalker, I'm not fucking doing shit. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like a skinwalker.
Yeah. Nick gets attacked by it, and you're again presented with a choice from Abigail. You can help Nick or you can run away. We chose to help Nick this time. We abandoned what's his name in the very beginning.
Fuck Max.
Yeah, we went to help Nick. And
well, as we would, because sorry, I was going to say the reason that like I helped Nick as well. But the reason I helped Nick is because the creature jumps on Nick and attacks him, and then kind of scurries away a bit.
Because there's a gunshot that happens. There's like a gunshot that they heard.
That was it, yeah. So I was like, if I'm going to help him, this is the time to help him. Like, if I run, he might not be here when I get back. So I need to help him now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you eventually do run away from him, but as you go to help him, the thing also jumps and lunges on top of Abigail. And this is where I was stressed, because I was like, oh no, Abigail. We can't let Abigail die.
Not the girl.
Exactly. But a follow-up gunshot either hits it or scares it off of Abigail, and then that's when Abigail runs into the forest.
Correct. Yes.
You have a couple options to continue running or to hide. In our instance, we did hide in this kind of hollowed out log. And as you go in there, there's kind of a quick time event that you have to do where the monster is on top of the log, kind of punching holes in it and trying to get you.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what would happen if you failed those quick time events if you got attacked.
I'm going to assume she dies. But so I ran.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get another prompt later on where you can choose to run or hide again. And this time there's like a set of stairs in the forest that are like going down to the next level.
That's what we did.
And you basically hide in those set of stairs. And that time is, I don't know if that was what happened in the log, but it's that one where you have to hold
stairs.
You hide like
Just
against the wall, and you're kind of like in the shadow of the forest.
Gotcha.
And that's the one where you have to hold A to see if you can hold your breath until it's like okay to go, and eventually the red disappears, the creature's fucked off, and you leg it and book it.
Yeah,
I think you did that as well.
Yeah, I did that as well.
I didn't get the log one. I got a couple of QTEs where I was like running through, and I had to flick the stick in the right direction, and a couple of them I did fuck up.
Ooh.
But luckily I managed to save main girl. She's still okay. She's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know that you can fuck some of them up and not just immediately die.
Right.
I don't think we've failed one yet, except for the beginning in the car.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we failed one yet either.
Sorry, I was just seeing here. It says that if you foul these sections with Abigail's and hiding, the creature bites you.
Interesting.
But apparently the gunshot goes off again, the creature lets go and runs off, but the bite has consequences in later chapters.
Yes, it does.
Well,
okay. Interesting.
We know those consequences all too well.
Right. Okay, so yeah, after this, it kind of cuts, and now we're into the Jacob and Emma kind of side of things. Jacob also ran off into the woods because he was upset that the girl he likes, Emma, was trying to make him jealous by kissing Nick, one of his best friends.
But, bro, could you be more of a fucking cliche? Sitting on a fucking pier,
the big tough guy, like sobbing
crying,
at the end of a pier,
skimming stones. I was like, man, this is fucking like Dawson's Creek or some shit.
You know, I will say this though. Stereotypically, our bros, our big bros, big bro, are not the most emotionally in touch people. So I do appreciate.
He's one with his emotions.
You know, he's crying, he's sad. I identify with that. I was a very emotional kid. I cried a lot. And I especially cried over women a lot, especially in my early teens. And so I'm like, goddamn, all right, cool. Because a lot of the time in media, it's like, oh, I don't care, bro, I'll just fuck another bitch. And it's like, no.
I understand. This dude has fallen for Emma and is genuinely fucking upset. I just meant the sitting on a pier skimming stones.
It's very cliche. I agree, yes.
But I do, like you said, I do like the fact that as much as he is like a little wannabe Chad or something, there is that genuine, like, he is upset.
He does have very problematic behavior, and I will not overlook that. He's very possessive, which is not great. But,
that emotional side of him completely disappears when Emma takes her top off.
That's what I was just about to say. Leading even more into his stereotype, Emma comes onto the pier and sits down next to him, and they begin talking. Again, Emma doesn't really apologize for the things that she did or anything like that.
She uses her fucking freakishly big mouth to be like, no.
Exactly. Yeah, they really fucked her up. If I was that actor, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, her and Nick really did not get good in the whole facial animation side of things. But yeah, Emma immediately brings up the idea of them going swimming. She says, like, we should go find some towels. And Jacob says, what do we need towels for? And she begins to take off her clothes. And then the sadness has now left Jacob's body, and the excitement to get any kind of
second brain is now thinking that. And he's like, oh, okay, all right. She does make a comment that I was kind of like, fuck you, because she makes a comment where, like, Jacob's being sincere and he's like, you know, I'm pissed that you kissed Nick, like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
And then she makes some sort of comment about how I think Jacob says something about him being a virgin or him having never seen a girl naked before or something. And Emma's like, well, you know, for a guy that supposedly doesn't know what he's doing with girls, he sure as hell knew what he was doing with his tongue in my mouth.
Right, exactly. And then Jacob was just like, what the fuck? I mean,
okay. Jacob's being like a weird, possessive fucking Chad. And like, you have to get a hit in a little bit. Especially because he's speaking down to Nick and he's like, oh, fucking Nick doesn't know what's going on. And clearly, like, Jacob isn't emotionally, like, he's a toddler, pretty much, for the most part. So
he's not emotionally mature at all, no.
No, yeah. So it's like, exactly. I'm not surprised that she's like, well, clearly he knew what he was doing. Because it's like, Jacob deserves it a little bit. He's being soft as hell right now.
There's two sides to the story, definitely. Right. I mean, I don't know what he's done to her previously.
That's true. Well, we are now tasked to go find towels in kind of this outdoor lodge area. There's like some canoes.
It is the weirdest building I've ever seen.
Yeah, I thought it was indoors, and then I realized that it's very much outdoor, indoor building.
It's like a house on top of a pier that's just weird. Out by the lake. I don't know, I don't know what that's about. But yeah, there's a couple of clues here that you can find.
Did you look through the binoculars?
Yeah, we did the binoculars.
Yes, because in the binoculars, you look into the island and you're like, oh, is there someone in that house on that island?
Mm-hmm.
You did that.
I did.
I looked through the binoculars and was like, right of his ass. I did, yeah, admittedly. Because polygonal women are my kink. But also, I didn't see anything else other than some ass. That's all I saw.
There was that sign that said like no swimming at all.
Yeah, you have to
something like that.
You have to pan around, and if you pan around there's like a house in the distance that's on that island that we go to eventually,
like the tower thing.
Yeah.
Up at the top,
and you can see a light on, and like some sort of movement happening, and you're like, oh, okay, someone's in the film, which is weird because as the player we know that everyone's accounted for because we know where everyone is.
Yeah. Well, except for the scary men with guns.
Yes, except for them. Yeah.
Right. We don't actually find any towels. We get to the top and realize that all the towels are gone. And there's an interesting line of dialogue as Jacob goes back down to talk to Emma, and he says, "Okay, I guess we'll just drip dry, or I mean, we could shake it out doggy style." And
which is great writing because it made me hate him.
Exactly.
Someone wrote that and was like, yeah,
you just got done being like, oh man, like he's being emotional and he's like being alone with his emotions. He's like a genuine person. Then he's like, hey, we can shake it out doggy style, and you're like, okay, fuck you, Jacob.
Fuck you, Jacob.
Yeah. We're back. We're back to not.
You could have at least been a bit coy and been like made some sort of comment about like warming up or something, like know, like be a bit more coy. Like saying like let's shake it out doggy style.
Yeah, you'd be like warm up with body heat. That's at least like kind of sexy.
A little subtle,
folks an image. Shake it out doggy style. It's just like
you imply the sexual contact. You don't just immediately
blatantly be like doggy style.
Yeah.
Emma does jump in.
Dick in you.
Yeah. Can I use your cock warmer, please? I'm looking for it.
Emma does jump right into the water, and then there's this weird scene where she's like, "Oh, help me! I'm drowning. I need a big, strong man." And you can decide
it's the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, you can decide as Jacob either to lean into it or not. I think we lean into it, and we're like, "Oh,
we like beat our chest."
Oh no, man! I was accusatory. I'm looking at the walkthrough here, and he's just like he gets into the water, and he's like, "Why don't you fucking ask Nick for help?"
Oh, okay. No
shit.
She showed us partial titties. And she's being a little nice to us.
So it's also the problem that like you don't get the full option. So you get enthusiastic or accusatory, and you'll get like a little 4-word snippet. So I didn't know fully what he was going to say when he was accusatory.
Mm-hmm.
He says to her, "Go and get Nick to help you," and sits on the edge. And then Emma goes under the water, comes up to the pier, pulls him in by his feet, and like drags him into
it. Interesting. We jumped in, and what happens when you jump in too is Jacob forgot that he has the piece of the whatever carburetor oil, whatever shit that he took out of the car in his pocket or in his hand. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, he just has a bag of oil that he's like,
they'll never find this. But he had that in his pocket, which is now in the water.
The rotor arm?
Yes.
Rotor arm. Yeah, there you
The
go.
rotor arm, yeah.
Car part. He then like jumps out and asks Emma to take a picture of him. He's like laying like on his side on the pier, and that's when he hears a scream. He thinks that he's like, it sounds familiar. It's Abigail screaming. And now you have the choice to either jump into the water after the part that you've dropped or go and help Abigail. And we chose to go into the forest and run after her and try to help.
Yeah. So there is a little bit before that where I'm curious if you guys did it. Like Emma starts splashing Jacob and you can choose to lean into it and splash her back.
I think we did.
It's got that red bar that comes down and you have to press A to do it. I splashed her back because I was like, do you know what? Like, bygones be bygones. Like, let's just fucking try and get it under the water.
I'm ready to move on.
One thing, we talked about facial animation. The game looks pretty. Some of the facial animations look impeccable. So good. The water?
Oh my god,
terrible.
It's terrible.
The
water
animation is so bad.
Oh, it is the worst I've ever seen.
I'm
going to say it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the next part that gets Finn is like, I went sentimental. So you guys done that asking Emma to take a picture of you. That is a choice that you have to make that's like a flirty choice. I did the other choice, which is sentimental, in which Jacob turns to Emma and is like, I don't want this to end. And she's like, well, you know, like and he's like, no, this. He's like, I don't want summer to end because summer means it's the last of us. And then she makes a comment and she's like, well, summer isn't over just yet, technically. And then Jacob's like, something happens, and Jacob goes, this isn't how tonight was supposed to be. And Emma's like, what was that? And he's like, oh, no, nothing, don't worry. And just like completely skips it off. I also went and helped with the scream, partly because I knew it was Abigail. But according to this walkthrough, you can dive for the rotor arm, and there is a chance for but there is a chance for Jacob to die if you do this wrong.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Yeah, I was seeing the walkthrough that I'm walking here too. You can there's like a bunch of chains under the thing, and you could get caught in them, and you can drown here if you do the actions wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question here because this didn't happen. And I want to clarify. So, fucking what's his name? Nick gets attacked, right?
Yeah.
And then in a little while, everyone gets back together, which we'll get to. But there's a conversation that doesn't happen between two of the characters that should definitely have happened, which Caitlin knows Jacob sabotaged the vehicle. They had that conversation at the beginning of the game, and they go, you know, he's like, I want this note to end. And she's clear. She knows what happens, but she's fine with it because she's like, okay, he's thirsty, whatever. As soon as What's-His-Face gets attacked, Caitlin doesn't go to Jacob and goes, fix the fucking car, you moron. We need to get out of here. Shit is going crazy. He was attacked by a bear, they assume, or whatever. That conversation never happens. And Caitlin is just like, well, this is our reality now. Looks like we're staying here forever. Which is just like, okay.
I think the assumption was supposed to be like they had that conversation, and I mean, she was there. She obviously would have seen this, but it's supposed to be like he went over there in like secret and pulled the part out, and then she doesn't know about it because she wasn't directly in front of the car. That's all. She was in the back with. It's a stretch, but I think that's kind of what they're implying. But you're not wrong.
I got it the same way Jared got it. When you're playing, it kind of comes across that she sees it. But at the same point, he's under the hood and she's not under the hood. But
I think that's what
you could also put fucking two and two together. Like, Jacob was under the hood and now the
car doesn't work.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to kill John. I think killing John would be a good idea. And someone's like, oh, okay, that's a weird thing to say. John is dead. And you're like, I didn't kill John.
And they're like,
you said yesterday that you were going to do that. And now John is dead. He was murdered. And you're like, so? No. I don't.
You're not.
I've never seen John before in my life. Exactly. I don't know who John is.
You're not wrong, but I'm saying that I think that's what the game is trying to do.
Yeah, I think this
or at least have an option in the beginning when the car doesn't start and Mr. H is there to then have Caitlin go up to Jacob and be like, okay, like,
did you do something to the car?
Clearly Mr. H is like angry about this, and then at least you have the ability to lie and be like, oh, I didn't do anything. Like, this really wasn't me, I swear.
No, but
there's not that option.
Very big plot hole, though, I will admit.
Yeah, 100%.
It is a very big plot hole.
After Jacob runs back into the forest, we cut back to the gang at the fire pit. This is where, Caitlin, Dylan, and Ryan are all sitting in front of the fire pit talking. I think they say something about like, oh, let's continue playing Truth or Dare. But at that point, Abigail comes running back in, and she's obviously panicked and scared, and talking to Caitlin and saying that Nick got attacked by something. I think you're playing as Ryan in this point, and
you are indeed.
You take the gun, or Caitlin gives you the gun to go into the forest and investigate what happened to Nick.
Which I just want to say, like, so, and again, I'm looking at the walkthrough here because I picked the worried option. So Abigail comes out, and you can choose to be worried or impatient, because she comes out and she's like, "Oh, Nick, like something's wrong with Nick." Who the fuck is going to choose to be impatient? Because it says here, if you click that, Ryan gets annoyed, starts raising his voice at Abby, and is like, "Where's Nick?"
Why would you be angry? She's clearly upset and shook up by something that happened. You should be like, "Oh my god, what?"
And I mean, like, I know we keep talking about the scream, but the scream is like a blood curdling scream. Like, it's a proper scream for help.
Right. Something's wrong. Scream. Like, there's something not right there.
I mean, you know, people in these games, they live to like be the contrarian and be like, I'm going to choose the options that aren't, blah, blah, blah. And who knows? Maybe her being an asshole leads to someone not dying. You never know with these games.
That's true.
People are human. People can, I mean, you were just attacked in the forest. You probably would be a little impatient and being like, why the fuck are you questioning me? Like,
and that might also just lead into like Ryan also freaking out. Like, he's scared because of how scared she is, and he just wants to know what the fuck's wrong. Like, what's wrong? And he gets upset and angry, but less that he's actually angry and more that he's just frustrated and scared about the situation. So I guess I can kind of see it.
There is definitely not enough gaslighting in this game.
Put it on the back of the box. Needs more gaslighting.
Yeah, no, but there's a lot of backstabbing in this game between the characters, and like I don't condone gaslighting. Don't get me wrong, but at the same point, I feel like the dynamics that have been created, there would be a lot more gaslighting going on.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
If I was in this situation and someone came out of the woods and was like, I was just attacked by something, I'd be like, no, you fucking weren't. What's wrong with you? There's nothing out here. Like, you're being stupid. Like, get over it. Like, it's probably just like, a deer that you saw. I'd gaslight the shit out of them. That's my natural reaction. I want everything to be okay, so I'm going to pretend that everything's okay.
Right. That's a very probable mentality too. It's there's like the one you said about Ryan freaking out and being angry, but then there's also the other mentality of just like God Jesus, what's the word I'm looking for?
Compartmentalization.
That's the one.
Hey,
we got that together. And just being like, no, you're crazy, everything's fine. Let's just go truth or dare again. Let's go back to the cabin or something.
Yeah.
Dylan is kind of our character for that. That is very much Dylan's, like, like I believe he briefly does sort of be like, like, let's not worry about this scream. Like, let's just keep doing what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on.
Yeah. Other than later in this section, not that much farther later, he's literally like, oh, we need to cut off this dude's leg.
Yeah.
Fully embraces the situation and is like, no, we need to cut off this guy's leg. And people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is happening?
Exactly.
You can choose to try and get Caitlin to go into the forest. I didn't.
No, exactly.
I was quite assertive, and I was like, we'll go. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you tell Caitlin to go, she just loses respect for you and is like, well, no, I need to look after Abigail. You go. And you end up going as Ryan anyway.
Yeah, that's the part that makes sense, but it seems like either way you choose, you go as Ryan. As you're running through as Ryan, this sets up a series of quick time events that could change and adjust how you do things. So I think there was only... there's a couple where you're jumping over like gaps in the ground, you're going like across rivers and everything. And there's a point where we can jump across like a large river or go across a bridge. And we decide like, okay, let's just go across this bridge. As we go across this bridge, one of the planks like break and Ryan rolls his ankle, which then now he's like stumbling and he's running. And our quick time events were like jumping up the stairs and everything because we have now rolled our ankle going that way too. Did you feel any of these quick time events, Ben, or do anything different there?
No, so I fouled one part of the quick time event, but it didn't end up screwing me over completely, which I'm very happy about because, like we kind of alluded to, like I feel like Until Dawn, again, I didn't play it, I watched it, but every time I watched it, if someone fucked up a QTE, it had devastating effects. Like someone got gravely injured or somebody died.
100%. There's lots of times in Until Dawn where if you fail a quick time event, you die. And your character's just dead.
this is a lot more forgiving. Like I feel like if you failed the quick time event overall, like as a majority, it would probably have an effect. But there was like 3 or 4 fins, and I only fucked up one of the fins. I followed the first path, and then I took a shortcut, and that's where I fucked up. I was trying to jump across a stream or something like that.
Yeah, I tried to do the long way of going across the bridge instead of the shortcuts, because I think we took the shortcut the first time, and then the bridge ended up hindering our thing anyways, because Ryan fucking rolled his ankle and failed anyways.
I'm assuming the shortcuts just have more quick time events that you have to do, but are...
So the shortcut, the follow the path only has 2. The shortcut has 4. But this is where we might get a little bit different, because when I got to when I did this, so apparently this is like a time thing. So if you do it quick enough by taking the shortcut, you can get to you can get to Nick while Nick is being seen to by one of the hunters.
That's what happened with us.
So that didn't happen with me.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So what happened with us is we get to Nick, and he is being pulled away by the very large hunter guy. We decide to aim the gun at him. You can shoot him. You have the ability to shoot him. In my mind, that would not have gone well. I was like, if we shoot this guy, that's not going to end well at all. What then happens is Nick bites the hand of the finger of the guy to escape. And then as he flinches back, Nick and Ryan run away, and then the hunter guy shoots his finger off.
And so sets forth a long line of severings that I am
Whose finger got shot off, sorry?
The hunter. He shot his own finger off. Which, this is where we start thinking about it. Right.
Yes.
So getting bit by these creatures is a bad thing. Is clearly bad, because he immediately lets go of Nick. Nick and Ryan run away, and he shoots his own finger off before whatever Nick has in him from being attacked by the creature spreads to him.
I couldn't, even if I knew that I was like, I'm surely gonna die from this bite, I couldn't remove one of my appendages. I don't have it in me. First of all, deepest darkest fear is losing.
This game and this last leg has been really bad for Kai, and
I hate it. I can't even watch it in movies. It just freaks me out. It gets to me, and there is so much of it in this game, and he just shoots his own finger off so quickly, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, so and then Nick and Ryan run back to camp. But how did yours? I mean, run back to the fire pit. But how did yours go, Ben? Because clearly it seemed like it went a lot different than what ours did.
So maybe I'm just remembering this wrong. I don't remember the hunter being there at all whatsoever.
Yeah, because right when we got there, he was dragging Nick away, and we pointed our gun at him, and then it did the red bar thing that gave us the option to shoot at the hunter before he dragged Nick away, but we decided not to shoot him.
I'm just trying to Google it, because okay, right, this is just real time Googling. Reach late, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was just trying to double check. So what happened with me is that I must have got there late, because I took the long path and then I took a shortcut. So I got to the area, and there's a scene where you put your gun up and you hear rustling in the bushes, and it does this thing where you can move the camera freely around and move the flashlight on the bushes, and then you can press RT to shoot if you want to. And I was like, unsure, didn't want to shoot. So I didn't shoot. I let the timer run down, and Nick comes crawling out of the bushes. And then Ryan's like, oh, Nick, oh my God. And then we sort of escort him back to the forest. So I didn't see the hunter here whatsoever.
See the hunter at all.
No, I had to double check that, but I didn't even come across him.
So the thing you miss out on is understanding that there is a severity to the bite that equates to shooting your own appendages off as a result.
Yeah. So as far as the in-game characters are concerned, there is no consequence other than bleeding to being bitten by these creatures.
Right, exactly. At that point, Ryan and Nick are now running back to the forest, and it cuts to Jacob running around the woods again. He heard the scream. He's trying to figure out where Abby is. In the midst of running around the forest, he gets stuck in a trap. It like hooks his leg and like wraps him up, and now he's kind of dangling. Yeah, exactly. He's dangling upside down. And as this happens, the hunter now goes out.
John Cena comes out.
Exactly. John Cena comes out and he pulls out his knife and kind of does, and Kai called this as it was going to happen because I thought he was going to just murdered Jacob, but he like runs the knife across his neck and then like cuts the rope down, and so
classic.
Interesting. Now, hang on.
Classic cinema trope.
Interesting. Did you threaten the hunter?
No, hell no. We're not in the situation to threaten.
Crazy.
This is so weird. So, like, you have the choice between threatening and pleading. Right. So he comes walking out the woods. I pleaded with him. And Jacob's like, oh, dude, please help me. Cut me down. I had no knife on cheek action. Like, the hunter picks up the knife and he's like, walks past Jacob and cuts him down. There was no, like, intimate knife play.
It's a very subtle threat. It's not like he, like, puts the knife against his throat. He just, like, pulls out the knife, walks towards Jacob, kind of, like, looks at him, brings it close to his face, and then turns and cuts the rope. So it's like...
Oh, okay, right.
It's an implied threat.
Right, it is implied. But yeah, as he cuts us down and we fall, he then opens this vial and pours what I can only assume is blood over Jacob's face. And we'd already seen kind of the hunter was covered in blood. So we're under the assumption maybe this like hides our scent, or maybe this stops them from being attacked.
It's predator. It's the mud on the face. That means you didn't throw the dirt at the hunter.
No.
Because I was like, this is some magic ass potion that's gonna save our life.
Well, I also thought, I was like, this guy, I'm on the ground. He has a knife. He's jacked. I was like, there's no way we're winning this confrontation.
He's invisible.
Exactly, you can't see him.
Super weird choice to make him invisible, by the way.
Yeah. So there is an option where you throw dirt, and if you throw the dirt at Jacob, if Jacob throws the dirt at the hunter, you will run off without the hunter doing the vial on him. That's the thing. So you can choose to throw dirt as a distraction to get away. But I was like, that's not going to end well for me. As the player, I know there's two of them. So the chances are this other dude is nearby somewhere. So I didn't throw dirt.
Other dude has snipers. So if I like try to run away and throw dirt, could clearly be in the background and just take us out as we're running.
I wasn't
100%.
Jacob is my character. So I was playing this section. That wasn't my thought process at all. As we remember from the last episode, if anyone made it through that 2.5 hour marathon, my assumption is that these guys are hunting the beast, which is confirmed. We learn. I mean, they're the ones who shoot the evil demon that's biting Nick. Clearly, they have traps all over the place, and they cut down Jacob. So as soon as I know he cut me down, I'm like, oh, this guy's on my side. We're homies. And so I'm like, I'm not gonna throw dirt at this guy. He's gonna give me some like super potion.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's
there's
that's
also
the assumption that I got too.
Yeah, sorry, I was to say it's very clear that's the assumption, because there's a line he says where I can't remember which one of them it is, but he's like, "Oh, where are you at, girl?" I think it's after this.
Yeah,
he like walks off, and you're like, "Oh, okay, right. He is hunting something." Like,
if anyone,
it's the hag.
Yeah, if anything, they're more annoyed that these kids are now in the way of their hunt and probably going to make things more complicated for them too.
I didn't think it was the hag. That was not my assumption.
No,
I thought it was Laura.
Oh,
when he says that, I was like, oh, he's talking about Laura. Like, that's who they're talking about.
Interesting.
Okay, I just automatically assumed he was after the hag.
But would you call an old ghost that like girl?
No, I assumed it was the skinwalker or the creatures that like if you're hunting.
Oh, that like turned from a girl.
So this is interesting. So I'm under the assumption that the hag has been misidentified as the skinwalker. So I feel like the hag and the skinwalker are the same person. Do you know what I mean? Like, this skinwalker goes around hunting people and is referred to as the hag because of this legend of the lake.
Ooh.
Do you get what I mean? Because it's like the skinwalker just happens to be there, and then there's this legend of the hag. So when something happens,
it's pretty
people
cool
are like, "Oh, the hag got the person."
Yeah, it's pretty cool that each one of us has a different perspective on who he's talking about when he says that. I think Laura, Jared thinks it's one of the skinwalkers that turned from a woman, and you think it's potentially the Hag of the Lake who's being misrepresented as skinwalkers.
Yes. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you think that like the skinwalker was a person, like in Until Dawn when the people become Wendigos. Yeah. You think a similar situation,
but that's because because we have the context of when he shoots off his finger. Right. So at this point, we already have that context.
What if the fucking skinwalker is Laura?
Well, exactly.
That's fair. I mean, well, that's what I said. When he panicked and shot off his finger, I'm like, it's either two things. Either it's like a deadly poison that's going to kill you, or you turn when you get bitten. Like werewolf style, you get turned when you get bitten.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was my assumption. But yeah, after that, when you run away as Jacob, that is the end of chapter 3. Say that I met you. Now it seems they've come apart. What am I supposed to do if you say we're through? Are you gonna break my heart? When your eyes light up, they sparkle. Yes. We now lead into chapter 4, which shows Caitlin and Abigail sitting at the campfire. Caitlin's trying to calm Abigail down. She tells her to draw because we know that Abigail is an artist, and that would kind of calm her down. She asks her to draw what she has seen. In the midst of all that chaos happening, Ryan and Nick come back, and they kind of lean Nick down on one of the logs there, and they're trying to figure out what to do with him. And we kind of referenced it before, but this is where Dylan comes in. They're like, should we just like cut off his leg? And we're just like, yeah, what? Why?
I just want to say that artists are one of the only people who ever get away with that bullshit, because this happens in like media all the time, where it's like, oh, the artsy girl, and it's like, draw what you saw, draw the terror. It's just like, I can't. Like, imagine if you were a musician and someone's like, sing a song about it, and they're like, it was scary and had big teeth, and they're like, oh,
okay. What happened? Allow me to show you through interpretive dance.
Yes, interpretive dancing.
Right. I think ballet school. Yeah, exactly. I think in this situation too, I mean, it's supposed to be like a calming method as Caitlin's trying to calm her down, but almost like a visual representation, because they're like, it wasn't a bear, it was some kind of creature. So I want to know what you thought this creature was. But imagine if you're just like a bad artist and it's just like a horrible like drawing of the creature. Like,
you're not good at it. Figure with like big teeth.
Yeah, exactly. One of the reasons that Dylan brings up the option of cutting off their leg is there's this black substance that's coming out of the wound.
It's a plague tail.
Which I don't even know if our gamma is just fucked on our TV, because our TV is like 10 years old at this point. I couldn't see anything.
I couldn't see anything either.
It just looked like a flesh wound, and I was like, I'm not gonna cut this
my bro just wants to make rat tornadoes. Okay, it's just like, let him do his thing. Are you gonna cut his leg off? Like,
I'm also incredibly selfish, and I don't like to see limbs get removed. So, given the opportunity, I'm like,
I know you're in pain, and this infection might spread, but I can't handle this, so let's not do it.
Also, just from the perspective of just from the perspective of the characters, right? Like, the only person at this point who potentially knows that this is something that is going to be dangerous is Rye. Right. Ryan is the only one who understands that the guy shot his finger off.
Yes, yeah.
At this point, for us, at least
for us specifically.
Right. So Dylan being like, "Yeah, you need to cut this guy's leg off," in a group of like teenagers would be fucking insane. I would be like, "What are you talking about?"
Even if he was like joking, because Dylan is like the comedic relief, he's the funny guy, he's the jokester. Even if that was like a joke, it's still just like, the fuck, dude? Like, why?
Fucking room, bro. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, he's like, no, you need to cut this. No, I'm pretty confident. This leg needs to come off.
I had a completely different experience, because you have this understanding of the bite and everything spreading and blah. And I want to say, I am going to continue to play the game as if I don't know that's a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want...
You wouldn't have if it wasn't for us playing through.
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know. So I'm going to keep playing as if I don't know about the bite and etc. So in mine, I got the option to apply pressure. I applied pressure because I was like, that's a bleed. I'm really upset because I read in this walkthrough here, it says if you opt to apply pressure, it won't do much except hurt Nick. So now I feel really bad. I thought I was stopping the bleeding.
I mean, you did the thing you should do in real life,
right? That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't feel too bad.
Yeah. So
let me try to treat the wound.
In my walkthrough, in my playthrough,
none of us questioned it either. I was just like,
no.
Oh yeah, you said the wrong thing.
Dylan makes the comment, and I was just kind of like, I made like some dismissive comment where I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, how the fuck is that going to help? Like, because we got no sanitary equipment. Like, what? We're going to find a hacksaw and in the fucking dirty ass beach just chop this guy's leg off. Like, that's not sanitary at all. And he's probably going to die from shock. Like, that's not.
That was our response as well.
Exactly. It was like, why would you do that?
What are you talking about?
And now I think we have the bush sequence now. This is the thing I was talking about earlier where you aim the shotgun.
Yeah, in the midst of doing this, there's rustling that happens in the bushes, and so Ryan gets up and points his gun out there. My first thought was like, "This is Jacob. I am not going to shoot. Like this is Jacob. I'm not going to shoot the gun."
I'm calling this now. It's so specifically obvious that it was Jacob, and in my scene with Ryan, it was so specifically obvious that it was Ryan that at some point in the future there's going to be a rustling, and I'm going to be like, "Oh, it's Abigail," and it's not them. It's going to be the fucking skinwalker,
demon, and you're going to die.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Yeah, but Jacob runs out, and he's freaked out because he's like, I just got attacked by fucking John Cena. He poured blood on my face. I was just trying to run out, and I heard Abigail scream and everything. And Ryan keeps asking, like, where's Emma? Where's Emma too? And he tells Ryan that he had left Emma back on the island. And then Ryan and Jacob kind of get into an altercation. And Ryan, Jacob throws a punch at Ryan, and Ryan tries to dodge it. Or you get a quick time event where you can dodge it, which is interesting.
Yeah, I didn't.
You didn't dodge it?
No.
Oh,
I fucked up with QTE. Yeah. So in my, this is also weird. It's like, you kill Jacob, not just kill Jacob. If you choose to shoot, says here
you killed Jacob. Or
no, I didn't. I'm saying you can. Sorry,
gotcha.
Sorry.
I was like, shit, you killed Jacob?
No, but I was just reading this, and it says the shot hits Jacob in the face, killing him immediately.
Holy fuck! Imagine already being scared from playing this and hearing rustling and not putting the two and two together. That's okay, Jacob was also running back, so it's probably him, and just shooting your friend in the face.
Right.
Oh,
just
God,
full shotgun to the face. So then it says here about two different options, but I chose to ask about Emma. I was like, where's Emma?
Yeah, same.
And essentially that's what happens is they begin fighting over the shotgun.
Which is a terrible idea. We were just we decided as Ryan to let it go.
Fucking gun safety. Safety. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that was what freaked me out is they were fighting over it, and I was like, someone's gonna end up getting shot in this. Yes, so the option as Ryan is to just let go, and
which is what I did as well.
And then the gun hits Jacob in the face, which makes him pissed, which makes him throw a punch at Ryan in the first place.
And it's really weird because I fucked up that QTE. He throws the punch at Ryan. I fucked up. He punches Ryan in the side of the face, and Ryan's just like, "Ow, bro!" And Caitlin's like, "Guys, go the fuck up. People are dying."
Yeah, exactly.
All that happens if you succeed in the QTE is that Ryan dodges it like a fucking champ, and then Caitlin intervenes and is like, "Would you two fucking stop it?"
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So there's a bit here that we didn't get, but apparently, if you survive that section where Jacob looks for the rotor arm, he finds the bloated corpse and will also tell the rest of the gang about the corpse in the water. But I didn't get any of that.
Interesting.
We do see the bloated corpse.
You do see the corpse,
at the end, it pans down into the water, but not as Jacob, because Jacob himself does it. This is as the player, not.
Do we have any fucking idea who that is?
No,
not
yet.
Okay.
Even with our advanced knowledge, we don't know.
It's just like a bald, middle-aged white dude.
I don't know.
Yeah, no idea.
It's hard to tell. It's a bloated corpse at the bottom of a lake. It's not a lot of detail, and it's dark. This game is dark as fuck.
It's so dark. I mean, I'm I have a playthrough pulled up right now. I'm kind of just using it to look at points, and I turn my laptop at full brightness. I'm like, I can't fucking see what's happening.
That's why I sent you the walkthrough because I was like, this is much fucking easier.
Right. But Jacob goes back into the forest, back to try to find Emma, and then we cut to playing as Emma.
I just want to clarify, Jacob is only in underwear still at this point.
Correct.
Yes,
because if you're not playing, you wouldn't know that, but Jacob is still just in underwear.
He got into his boxers, got in the water, and then ran through the forest in his boxers.
Yeah.
No shoes. Still running through the forest.
Just free balling it.
He's got some strong feet. That's all I can say.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we're playing as Emma now on the island, and now
also with no underwear.
Right, exactly. Sets up a sequence of Emma kind of documenting just what's been happening with her and Jacob.
She's
what's
the
happening
most social
on the
media
island.
star.
This is the most frustrating section.
Did you not like pose him as an Instagram model? Like,
yeah. Okay. First of all, super fucking annoying. I already don't like social media.
We have to see her mouth up close. No, thank you.
I did not choose to be Jacob, but I did choose to be Emma, and that was a mistake. I'm gonna be honest. I regret that decision. Emma is very annoying, and she is vlogging this experience in the dark with the world's brightest fucking phone. Anyone who's okay, I just want to be clear. When you are taking a selfie, the only thing illuminating your goddamn face is phone light. And if there's no light because it's dark, it's not going to light up your face. That's not how cameras work. It's not how anything in this world works. This isn't even fucking possible and super unnecessary. But anyway, we're just talking, and none of it is important.
That's like, what I was going to say. She just kind of just talks, and it's not.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, Jacob, blah, blah, blah. I feel bad, but not really, because I'm hot, and I'm going to go be hot the rest of my life. And then she's like, maybe one day when we're like 70 and like old, and you know, and we're going to be hot 70-year-olds, then we'll fuck each other and get married. But until then, I'm just going to be out here doing my hot girl shit.
Cut back to first episode where Kai was like, Emma's the hot one, Emma's best girl.
Emma is no. I want to be clear. Emma is the hot one.
Oh, she is the hot one, but
Emma has hot girl personality.
She does have hot girl personality.
Very vapid, and she has had zero struggle in her life because of how hot she is. And so that is just her entire existence. And eventually, you walk across the whole island. You say some fun facts about the fucking island, because I guess you're vlogging. And then you climb up this ladder, which you know is going to lead to demons. Of course.
Did you find a tarot card?
Maybe
it's at the bottom of the pier. Like when you go, as you're exploring, you go down to the pier. It's it's on the side of the arm of the pier.
Yeah. There's also weird like upskirt, not upskirt shot of Emma where like the camera's like at a 45-degree upward angle, and you're like.
But then there's a spot where she's like choosing like two paths, and one of them is like just a normal path that goes down, and the one was like stairs that go up. And there was some house. Yeah, to the treehouse, but we kept going straight. We went straight.
You keep going straight. You still end up at the treehouse.
I booked it straight to the treehouse. I was like, this is clearly the more interesting option. Yeah. So I went straight to the treehouse.
Then we go up there in that demon treehouse,
and
shit ensues. Now,
but this is I was like, this is the interesting part too, because as we open the door and kind of explore the treehouse that's there. There is a rustling and there's a shaking of a door.
He fucking reacts like no one would ever react.
So, question quickly: did you find the police car keys?
No, I don't even know what that is.
There's a set of car keys that are like police car keys right by the treehouse door on a window ledge next to the treehouse, and it adds as a clue for your playthrough of the game.
Interesting. No, we got like the bear spray repellent or whatever, and then we picked up the taser as well. We picked up both of those.
Yeah, so I also had the bear spray and the taser as well. These are things that you find in the treehouse as you're sort of walking along. And then
like Kai was saying, she reacts so weird. She's like, there's this rustling and scratching that's happening at the door, and she's like, oh, I wonder what's up there. I guess we'll check it out, guys. Let's go. And flips the latch and lets the thing out. And it's one of the fucking skinwalker things jumps down right in front of her.
Bro, okay, right. You're with Jacob, right? You're with Jacob. You're skinny dipping, not fully skinny dipping, but you're in the water. Okay, there's a scream. Jacob books it. As far as you know, Dylan, Brian, and Caitlin are, still on the beach. Mm-hmm. Jacob is going towards a scream, and he assumes is Abigail. Sorry. Why on God's fucking earth would you open a trap door, having heard a blood-curdling scream, and knowing that nobody else that you know would be there? Like, as far as they're aware, they are the only people. Like, Emma doesn't know about the hunters. So as far as she's aware, they're the only people in this camp.
Not only that, why would you go to the island? You heard one of your friends yelling that you just spent 3 weeks with being a camp counselor, and fucking Jacob's like, okay, I have to go see what's up. The last thing you do is go and just be like, I'm going to go vlog on this island because I don't care about any of you.
Yeah, why didn't you just swim back to the other dock and just jump out and sit on the dock while Jacob's doing this?
The problem is that you guys are caring human beings and you have empathy. And, she very clearly doesn't have empathy and is very consistently worried about Emma and what's happening with Emma, and how does this help
also,
Emma?
she's a content goblin, and she's like, this is gonna get views.
Exactly.
I'm
a hot girl on a spooky island on my own. There's a spooky treehouse. People are going to watch it, and people sadly would.
Yeah, I mean, when this thing jumps out of the trapdoor, this is kind of our first up close view of these creatures, because we kind of saw in the woods. Scary. Yeah, they're absolutely terrifying. But at this moment, you have enough choice as Emma to tase the creature or spray it with the bear repellent or whatever. Yeah. We decided to do the bear spray route, which kind of like it hinders it for a little bit and gives it enough time for Emma to run away. But Ben, did you do this? Which one did you do?
I'm just
taste it.
Interesting. So I'm guessing you searched the bag beforehand as well.
Yeah, because we found the taser.
Yeah, so you can choose to either search the bag, which we both did. We found a taser and a bear spray, or you can not search the bag and open the trap door. If you open the trap door, you die immediately.
Oh shit! That's fucking crazy! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it literally, you open the trapdoor, it lands in front of the floor on Emma and just launches at her and kills her. So
we're making some good choices apparently in our playthrough.
Okay. Also,
interesting. Yeah. Okay. Go on. You do your thing. I'll tell you what I did after. Go on.
Okay. It looks like Max.
It does.
I'm just saying.
How can you say it looks like Max, bro? It's just red and bald. Oh shit! Actually, wait.
Wait a minute. Is that Max?
That's what blindness.
I sent you what I was saying. There's a picture of it at the bottom.
Kind of looks like Max.
It kind of looks like Max.
Very Max-esque.
And in the very beginning, Max got bitten by some creature at the bottom. Which again, if we take into context this, and we take into context the finger being shot off, that if you get bit by these things, you turn.
It's all coming together. So you walk me through your treehouse experience, and then I'll tell you, because mine is slightly different, but we got to the same.
Okay, the demon drops down. I bear sprayed it. I booked it out of the fucking house because it's terrifying.
Yeah,
is that it? Also, you ran out of the house.
We do like 1,700 QuickTime events,
right?
Which were all incredibly stressful. I think there's only like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
You end up running all the way back around into the treehouse again.
Right.
And then you end up going up into the attic where the demon was and locking it below you. And you put the heaviest object you can find,
it's a toolbox,
which is a toolbox. Not a big toolbox.
Like a small little toolbox.
You put that on the door, and she goes, "Yep, I did my job."
But yeah, at that point too, we then proceed to climb on top of the treehouse, which there's a zip line that goes from the treehouse down to the dock below. As you start reeling in the zip line towards yourself, it makes noise, and Emma stops and looks around because she knows that this thing is just going to climb up. You have a choice to quietly and slowly reel it in, or you have a choice to go quickly. We did it quickly to get it to us as soon as possible. As the thing jumps up and is now crawling behind us, we now have a choice to jump off. As we jump off, we land on the zip line and then safely make our way all the way down.
Which is another QuickTime event, mind you.
Yeah.
So you have to successfully grab on to the zip line.
And then Emma lets go and lands in the water, and then she swims to the dock.
I would be really interested to see what happened if you guys had fucked up that QTE of landed on the zip line.
You would fall to your death.
Right? Surface tension of water and all of that stuff.
I don't even think you'd make it to the water. I think you'd literally just hit ground and rock. Die immediately.
So my one was a wee bit different. So the creature dropped down in front of me, and I had the choice of bear spray or taser, and I was like, bro, Taser Nation, let's go. I tased it.
You got to get close to that thing.
Did you get a picture of it then?
I tased it. I got a picture of this motherfucker on my phone. I know what this motherfucker looks like. I got evidence now. Similar situation, you run around the house, you go back up. There's a choice where you can either go up the trap door or like hide. And I was like, who the fuck is gonna hide? So I went up the trap door, did the same thing, put the toolbox on the top, got to the zip line. I reeled it slowly.
Oh, interesting.
Because my logic was like, this thing still thinks I'm in the trapdoor. It's still, because you can hear it trying to get in the trapdoor. So I was like, I think it's occupied there long enough that if I don't make noise, then I can get it.
Did that work out for you?
It did indeed work out for me. I reeled it in slowly. The creature comes towards me. I grab hold of the zip line, and it gets very close to me, but I don't have to jump or anything like that. I just book it on the zip line, drop into the water, same as you guys did.
Do you want to know my logic?
Go on, him.
Between the slow and the fast?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been in a movie theater and you've had a bag of candy? Because they sell it in boxes, but there's a little bag. If you do the bag slowly, it's the loudest thing on the planet. It takes you like 12 minutes. But if you do it quickly, in one foul swoop, you're just like, it's louder, but it's loud for a very short amount of time. And that was the logic that I used for the screech.
So you crank it once, and it goes like, and then you get another choice: crank slowly, crank fast, and you can like do it bit by bit in segments. You don't do it all in one go.
Do you get a choice each time to continue cranking slowly?
Time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
So you can choose to like crank it a little bit and then be like, fuck this, I'm just gonna book it. Yeah. But you can choose, yeah.
From the jump, I was like, fast. We're doing this fast.
Right. Another little detail is that like as they're rummaging through the bag, Emma found clothes, and now she has like some random person's clothes. Like she's not in the nude anymore. She's wearing like a baggy shirt and some jeans that she's like rolled
still
up
fits her remarkably well.
After Emma gets back to safety, now cuts to we're playing as Dylan. And the gang has now made their way to the lodge because, as we said, Nick has now been attacked. So they're trying to get him to a safe environment, not outside in the wilderness where he can get more infection or he could be attacked by this creature.
Yeah. Also, there's like medical supplies in the cabin so they can kind of try and treat his wounds and stuff like that.
Right. Well, that's the thing is they need medical supplies. So Ryan and Dylan have to make their way towards the nurse's station so they can try to find some medical supplies to give to Nick.
Yes. Who are we playing in? We're playing as Nick in this section, aren't we?
Dylan.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
This one's Dylan. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm getting confused. Yeah.
Because in this section too, when it's just Dylan and Ryan, Dylan starts hearing the voices as they're in like the cabin. He starts hearing whispers of his voice, and he's also like, confused and everything.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions you can do here. Like I chose to, as Dylan, say to Ryan, like, I hope Nick's okay. There is an option where you can be like, oh, do you think the monsters can track us by our scent? And I was like, no, I don't need to do that. No, that's cool. And I just kind of tried to be, as Dylan, just tried to be like optimistic. The whole time and sort of be like, Nick's gonna be okay. He's gonna pull through. And then you determine that you should go to Mr. H's office because Mr. H has a phone and you can use that to call police and get the help. And there's a weird comment where Ryan's like, oh, yeah, just call 911. And he's like, what? Yeah. You mean 911? And he's like, yeah, that's what I said, 911.
Yeah.
And you're like,
or he says 911.
911, that's it. Yeah,
that's what it was. He says like 911, and you're like, why did you say it like that? Dylan's an interesting character. I love the guy, but he's a strange dude.
Yeah.
He
is phone's
my
dead.
favorite character.
Oh, Dylan's my favorite. Absolutely.
He's the best.
He is, yeah.
Which is making me even more like sad. If anything happens to him, I'm gonna be devastated.
Well, Ryan has to happen. That is the only outcome I want of the game.
Exactly. They go to make a call, and as Ryan is trying to call, there's no answer. The phone lines have seemed to be cut, and almost in that same instance, all the power immediately goes out, which is never a good sign.
Not never a good sign at all. Just coincidental.
Exactly. Yeah. All coincidence.
Yes. And now we get a gun? ?
Yes. Dylan sees the gun in the office and goes, I'm gonna take this bitch. And Right Guy is like, no, you're not. And then Dylan's like, okay, you're being fucking stupid. I'm gonna take this gun until things cool down. And then Dill Dog takes the gun, and Right Guy's like, all right, fine, whatever, bet, take the gun. And then that's kind of the interaction that happens. I also think they talk about going to the radio tower, correct? This is that section.
Right, because that's what he talks about. He says, is there any way that we can get a communication out or to get a signal out that we need help?
It's like a ham radio, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, Dylan was the announcer for the camp, and he was also the guy who would play the music through the radio. And so he's like, oh, there's a shortwave radio station because they used to play radio for the campers, because campers, all that they would used to be able to bring is like shortwave radios that they could listen to music on. And he's like, I think I can boost the signal and send out a message, but we can't actually like listen back unless we have the specific, frequency in which they're responding to.
Yes.
So then they end up having to go to the radio station.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so we kind of got the sequences like flipped. The stuff that happens with Dylan and stuff happens first, and the stuff where Emma's reeling in happens last. Because right as Emma gets to the bottom of this and she jumps off, that's the end of chapter 4.
Yeah. And also, you guys chose to jump to reach the zip line. You can choose to keep reeling the zip line in, and if you do so, Emma still gets away, but she is bitten by the creature.
Oh shit!
Look, you
jumping was the good.
Jumping was the good option. But yeah, that is the end of chapter 4. Like we were saying, the game just picked up. Like Ben was saying, it's a roller coaster, and we were just on the action part on both of these chapters.
Just for continuity's sake, we do have a gun at the end of this. I know we mentioned it. There's this weird little section in this walkthrough here where basically Ryan tells you to give Caitlin the gun. Yeah. Because we know Caitlin is a good shot based on what we saw with Jacob and him. It doesn't matter what you do, Dylan will end up with the gun either way. Oh no, Dylan ends up giving the gun to Caitlin.
Right.
Because basically I went with the option, like, you have an option of being like, no, it's my gun, or you guys are going to stay in the house, you need to be able to defend yourself, take the gun. That was
our thought process, because this is the instance where Dylan and Ryan are like, okay, we're going to go out and go to the radio tower, you guys
Ryan has a gun.
We already have a gun. You guys need a gun as well, because you're not protected at this point.
Not only that, you do a little flirty flirt where you're like, you protect me, big strong man. And then
Ryan
decides to give you the gun as Dylan. And then outside, Dylan is like, you're fucking crazy. This is going to be your gun. I'm not going to hold on to this gun.
Right. He's also like, you're like a better shot than me. So he's like, you just...
Yeah.
I love them so much.
You know how to handle a stick better than I do.
Okay, so let's go around. Kai, we'll start with you. How did you feel about chapters 3 and 4 of The Quarry?
As we assumed, it's picking up. Yeah, we should have, but at this point, I have already started. We are, starting to see the beginnings of how our downfall will become. We have our first character that has been attacked by a demon. What is happening?
I was in my head. I was trying to figure out what was wrong, and I was like, "What did Ben say?" But I realized that you said he should go last because it's your game. But continue. I understand.
I just saw the mental processing happen, and then you just mouthed the word "oh," and I was like, "All right, fuck it, it's fine."
I realized what I had done wrong, but continue your thoughts.
I think we're getting a lot of good insight into the different characters, as vapid and annoying some of them can be, like the Jacobs and the Emmas of the world, and even the Nicks for some part. Like, Nick is not an interesting character. He doesn't have a lot of personality going on. He's just Australian, which for Americans is like,
interesting for us.
like that's entirely Chris Hemsworth's career, is just being an Australian person. So that's fine here, but I don't know if that plays well other places. But yeah, I think, this has all of the good hallmarks of a scary, spooky game. It is very reminiscent of Until Dawn. I think there's great jump scares that work really well. I think decision making feels, for the most part, very realistic. There's a couple things where I'm like, okay, that's weird. And as I mentioned before, the lack of conversation between Caitlin and Jacob, especially when he comes out of the forest, of being like, okay, you need to fix the fucking car, you psychopath. Like, we need to get out of here. Someone is hurt. Like, people are freaked out. Or at least any confrontation of did you do that of any kind during a part of the game? But yeah, I mean, at this point, we've already played through the next chapter, so I know what is coming, and it only gets more aggressive and more scary from here. But yeah, generally, I really enjoyed this section. I think, the dynamics that are starting to unfold of where allegiances lie and where little weaknesses of character exist that can be exploited down the road is very interesting, and I look forward to seeing those through. And the Skinwalkers are fucking scary. They're a good villain.
They're terrifying.
It would be really easy to make them look like werewolves and put fur on them and make them less scary, but they're bald creepy motherfuckers that are like
It's
7
like a
feet
little bit
tall.
of hair. They're like red.
Do you reckon like the fact they're red has something to do with what the hunter poured on Jacob?
Maybe like to make them see like they're like one of them, so they're not attacking their own kind
or maybe it's like a smell thing, so like the scent is the same as a skinwalker, so they won't attack them.
It's possible. I like the environment. It's very dark and it's a great setting for one of these games. And like camp at night, forest at night, generally very scary, but like camp, something about that, like, and especially something that's empty. Like I find that the scariest places are places where have been abandoned, where people were but are not anymore. There's just something very eerie about that setting and feeling, and so it's great. So far, I'm having a blast. This is everything I wanted it to be. The voice acting is very good. The water animations are terrible, awful, the worst I have ever. It looks like Jello. It looks like Super Mario Sunshine water animations. Like, I don't understand how that cute it out where someone was like, "Yeah, this is fine. We'll release this." Like, no. No. Also, some of the facial animations are questionable at times, but other than that, still strong.
Got a problem with like Emma's snake jaw? What's your problem with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just once again, it's like those weird choices where like
I think it's more like the inconsistency too. If they all had bad facial animation, you're like, yeah, but then Abigail has like fantastic facial animation. It's like
they're like, this girl's too hot. How do we make her less hot? Give her a janky
give her a snake.
Give her a snake jaw.
Yeah. And then some of the decision making feels non-realistic, which is sad. Like Emma's decision making, I just don't understand. And it's not even like it's optional to make those decisions. It's just like her natural reaction to things is so bizarre that it completely breaks like the suspended disbelief of the game, where you're just like, okay, no one would ever do any of this. This is ridiculous.
I don't know, because I mean, we don't live in that clout world. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not clout chasing little goblins.
Excuse me.
Kai is our resident clout goblin here on the podcast.
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
You're a clout goblin to a certain extent, but you're not to the extent of like, my friends may be in danger. I'm gonna go explore a creepy abandoned treehouse on my own.
That's true.
Yeah.
I can't. I guess that's the thing. I can't imagine anyone doing that. But then again, you know, Logan Paul went and saw a dead person in Japan and decided to put that on YouTube. So like,
exactly.
Clearly, there's questionable decision making happening out in the world that is realistic. So but yeah, I'm excited to jump to the next section. I'm excited to play through this game, and that is my summary for these two chapters.
Nice. Okay, I'll go here. This is immediately kind of the pacing has been done well in this game. I think after chapter 2 and after, we talked about in the last episode that maybe it kind of went a little long in the world building and everything like that. But I think that the action and the events starting to pick up now, the suspicions that we had from the beginning, some like the creatures and everything like that was seeing these hunters, having all that stuff come into fruition and still not knowing a lot of information about them, but slowly peeling away the layers of like what these things are, why are the hunters here? They're clearly not after us as individuals. They're clearly hunting these creatures. I think it's come at a perfect point. Like Kai said, the voice acting is done incredibly well between most, if not all, of the cast. The game still looks beautiful aside from some gelatinous water that we had seen, but other than that, it still looks impeccable. Even though, like, especially in these two sections, it's just been dark the entire time. Like, it's just kind of been really dark in both chapters 3 and 4. But there's still some beauty to that too. They did a good job of making the environment feel eerie and feel scary. And there's times where you legitimately can't see things. And I think that just helps build to the experience and build to the suspense and the thrill that this game has. The story is interesting. I'm still hooked on the fact that you can shoot Jacob in the face with a shotgun in that bush, and I'm afraid that we're gonna make some small mistake like that and just kind of murder one of our characters. But it seems like we've been making good decisions so far, because like Kai said, no one has died just yet. But I'm enjoying my time.
One bitten person or two bitten person?
We have one bitten person, which is Nick at this point. Yes. I was telling Ben before this, like, it's interesting so much so that our significant others have now wanted to watch this, and there are almost begging us to be like, hey, when are you going to be playing this next? Because I want to sit down and I want to watch it with you.
Yeah, there are chants of Quarry early every week. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Quarry. Yeah, and this is the first game that's ever happened.
Right. So much so too, like after, because Kai's significant other Jordan came in a little bit later, and then my wife Sarah explained what was happening to her, and I was like, you should have come on the episode. You did a great job of explaining that narrative.
It didn't take her 2.5 hours. It took her 30 seconds.
Are you guys gonna like movie mode it once you've finished? Would you movie mode and just sit with your significant others and watch it happen?
I don't think so, because I think after they've experienced it and watched it, I don't think there's a good chance of them like, oh, well, let's try it again. I don't know. When we were explaining the movie mode to my wife, she was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, like the concept of it, but I don't know.
I also think the emotional labor that I'm going to go throughout this game is one of those things where I'm not going to be able to sit through it again.
I can't watch my boy die again.
Yeah, like that's
not only that, but like Kai was saying, the dismemberment that happens in this game, there's some a good amount of it that's happening, and that's a lot.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of good games where I'll play and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna play this again. And by the time I'm at the end, I'm like, I can't do this again. Like Last of Us 2.
Part 2.
When you're playing through it, you're like, oh, this is amazing. I'm gonna play this a million times. And you get to the end of it and you're like, I'm never gonna touch this again. This is too hard.
We've still only played through it once.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go back to it. Yes, but that being said, the game has only intrigued me more and more and continued to pique my interest as it goes through. The characters have been compelling enough to make me interested in them, some more than others. Ryan and Dylan, like, we're fighting for you the whole time. We hope. I told Kai this when we were playing, I was like, if just Dylan and Ryan survive, I think I'm cool with that. Like, I think that's something that I can live with, and something that
we're gonna consider that a win.
Bond them for life.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They will never leave each other's side.
That's an outcome that I think I'm okay with. But no, I'm excited to hear what happens next. I'm excited to peel back more layers of this mystery, and yeah, it's been a great time. Awesome.
Well, I can't really add anything that you guys haven't already said. It's so weird because I was saying last episode about how I felt like it dragged on a little bit, but it ended up going into such a perfect pacing because I don't know if it come across properly in the episode, but when you're playing, the avalanche of things that happen and the way that they happen just feels natural. Like, it starts with Nick and Abigail being attacked, and then it just progresses and snowballs, and like things just lead on to one to another, and now we're in a situation where Ryan and Dylan have decided to go and contact help, and that is a direct result of Nick being attacked and Nick being at the house. So it's that progression of events has felt really natural, and it's been really nice to kind of just watch it flow into one another. I agree with Emma. What you guys like, what Kai said about sort of like her actions not making sense. I do think that it's supposed to be this representation of like, you know, oh, here's this super self-absorbed Instagram wannabe person, you know, just absolutely has to vlog everything and has to turn something into a monetizable event. And so it'll be interesting to see that. I'm really liking the atmosphere. These scenes with the shotgun flashlight in the bushes and whether you shoot or don't shoot have been some of the most nerve-wracking things that I've played in gaming for a fucking long time.
Absolutely.
And knowing that I could have shot Jacob and Jacob died, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a massive Jacob fan. I'm not going to sit here and say he's my favorite character, but
still.
I like the guy enough that I don't want to shoot him in the face. You know, I want to see him come out the other end of this as an emotionally mature person, move on from Emma because she clearly doesn't want to be with him, move on and kind of live his life and go and do whatever. So and just it's just those moments are so tense, and it's crazy to me that just one choice with Ryan and which path to take completely led to this different scenario where I don't know about the bite being the cause of people turning into these creatures.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting to see that side of it as well. I think it's a brilliant atmosphere, it's a brilliant environment, great pacing, great storytelling. And yeah, I have not played chapters 5 and 6 just yet, but I very much had to pull myself away because I wasn't sure when we were recording, and I was like, I kind of just want to see what keeps happening, and I was like, no, okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, we didn't touch on it a little bit in here, but one thing too, in the first episode, it seemed like a lot of our decisions were the same. It was very reassuring to see that there is very big differences, like big plot points that both of us either didn't have or both of us missed. Like that's the thing with these games, and that was a little bit of a worry in the first episode, was how impactful will our decisions actually be. And it seems like, I mean, just none of us did it, but killing Jacob right in the beginning, it seems like that our decisions are going to have a drastic effect on the narrative, whether that's like people living or dying, or like just information, like the whole bite thing and everything.
Yeah, and I mean, there are some moments where you end up at the same situation regardless.
Yeah.
But then there are also moments where, like, okay, you could have shot Jacob in the face, but he also could have drowned trying to get the rotor arm. You know, Emma could have been bitten.
Right.
Like there's a whole slew of things that could have happened. And so it's almost as if rather than branches that converge off into different ways, it's almost like pathways, and the pathways will cross over eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, regardless of, like, the journey will be different, but the destination may be the same, but then that will branch off into its own ending, and it will branch off into its, 180 different outcomes this game has, or something like that. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And just while I remember, because I will forget, I just want to praise the update that happened like 2 days before we're recording this.
Your PC journeys. Is that better now?
So the PC is still not performing great. There's still a lot of dropped rates and everything like that. But what I want to commend is the fact that the Wolfpack mode is now out. That is a 8-player online co-op experience. The host controls the person, and then everyone who is watching gets to make the decisions. Rather annoyingly, all 8 people have to have a copy of the game. You can't invite people who don't own the game, which
That's wild.
Is a little bit annoying. It would have been nicer if they were just like, oh, you can host up to 3 people.
Right. Well, games have done that recently too, like especially in this kind of thing, have it where as long as one person has a copy, then everyone can kind of participate.
I mean, It Takes Two. Didn't
exactly.
Give a copy away or something like that?
Yeah. Right. And they also made the podcast, the in-game podcast, is available to listen to on the main menu. You can go in and listen to all, I think it's like 6 episodes of the podcast that Ryan was listening to. One of them being about Hackett's Quarry and the Hog of Hackett's Quarry.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then other ones being about other sort of paranormal things. But
the Hog of Hackett's Quarry.
The Hog, the Hag? The Hag. Not the Hog, the Hag.
Evil pig. Yeah. But yeah,
I just thought that was brilliant.
We're excited for more of the Quarry, if that's not apparent in this episode. But guys, thanks for getting to the end of the episode. Thanks for listening as always. And let's get into what we're going to be playing through next week.
Snacks.
Chapters 5 and 6.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up what the chapter names are called, but I was just gonna yeah, so we're going to be playing through chapters 5 and 6. Chapter 5 being White Noise, and chapter 6 being Prayers by Night. So yeah, tune in for that this week. That's what we're going to be playing through. But as Kai screamed, we are going to talk about snacks. Kai had recommended that we all bring a snack recommendation to the table. And Kai, do you want to start us out with? What are some snacks you like?
I got 4.
4 snacks.
Four
cool.
snacks. I want zero judgment for these 4 snacks. I eat them consistently. The first one is a beverage, which is technically not a snack. I'm going to be honest. It's a beverage, but whatever. LaCroix Limoncello.
Fuck you. I was going to say that one.
Best beverage. Best bubbly water ever. Mm-hmm. Delicious. Vanilla, lemon. Hits different. Great. Siggy's. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced, which is great. Siggy's coconut skyr yogurt, fucking phenomenal. Put a little honey on that bitch. Goddamn, it's a literal snack. The Golden Island pork jerky, which they sell through Costco, but you can also get on Amazon, is amazing. It tastes like Korean meats. It's lovely, delicious. We love it out here. My last one, Lesser Evil, which used to be Buddha Pop, and I'm pretty sure they changed because they got a lot of shit. They got a lot of shit because they're not actually Buddhists. So they turned to Lesser Evil. They have a hibiscus popcorn, fucking phenomenal, but just the standard kettle corn. It's lightly sweetened, so good. I eat it every week. It's a great snack choice. If you couldn't tell, I'm white and live in Southern California, because those are some of the most white person snacks on the planet. One of them was yogurt and low-calorie popcorn, but they're delicious. Every single one of those is wonderful. I eat all of that almost on a weekly basis, and those are my snack brands.
Nice. No judgment, because I also will provide some white snack options for you too. Mine was also going to be the LaCroix limoncello drink.
So good.
I will do you one, and I'll do the lime and ginger Waterloos. Before
the limoncello came along, that was the best flavor.
Yeah.
Me and Jared have a deep love of bubbly water.
Yeah, we do. We
love
drink soda, so that's our soda is bubbly water.
Our carbonated kings out there, you know if you know. But
you should try to start like the short kings thing. Try to start a carbonated kings.
Carbonated kings, 100%. If your water is still, you can't be our friend. Sorry, it's just how it goes.
The second one that I'll recommend is Trader Joe's Rainbow and Trail Mix. It's that one or the sweet and savory. Both of those have, like your normal trail mix, amenities, raisins, almonds, all the nuts and whatnot. The sweet and savory one has like little yogurt clusters in it. Delicious. Same as Kai. I get that.
That's good. Holy shit.
I get that all the time. Almost every week I have that. I usually get like granola bars every week too. Some of my favorites are like the Kind bars. They have a lot of those. There's like a peanut butter one. I'm a slut for peanut butter. I love like all things peanut butter flavored. So like
true. He is. He doesn't like regular peanut butter, but peanut butter flavored things.
I'll take peanut butter flavor any day over a regular actual peanut butter. Those are absolutely fantastic. And then my last one is the Kettle brand like chips, and there's a lot of different flavor ones, and they just came out with like this habanero lime. It's so good. It's like spicy.
The fucking truffle chips are ungodly. So good. So good.
Ben's concerned.
Yeah, y'all are talking about shit I don't know.
Well, that makes sense. We live in different countries.
Yeah, I assume that's how this was going to go. But yeah, those are my recommendations for snacks. If you live near Trader Joe's or anything like that, then check those out. Ben, hit us with some snackaroos here.
Boom. Okay, so I went down the obvious route of like, I'm British, you guys don't have this, you should try it. First one, I know it's super stereotypical, but you've got to try crumpets, right? Crumpets are fucking amazing. They are like super fluffy dough thins that you smother in butter, and it's fucking gorgeous. I know you guys don't have chili heatwave Doritos. If you can get your hands on chili heatwave Doritos, fucking eat chili heatwave Doritos, right? They're so good.
I'm looking this up.
We have like the spicy sweet chili ones. That's what we have.
Oh man, these are like different. Crunchy bars. Okay, I didn't know you guys don't have crunchy bars. This is a bar of honeycomb, just coated in chocolate. If you like honeycomb, wait, do you guys have honeycomb in the US?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank fuck. Yeah, right. So it's just a honeycomb chocolate. It's brilliant. There's a bunch of stuff I was looking on here. Like, I know I've spoke to you guys before. You guys don't have Battenberg. Like, if you can get a hold of Battenberg is amazing. It's like sponge cake with jam in it, and then it's wrapped in something called frangipan, which is almond like icing.
Why are all of your snacks sound ridiculous? Who is in charge of naming British snacks where they're like, yeah, we got Jaffa cakes and frangipan wrapped in a boodaloop, and it's swilled with conglacaden.
Why is your English accent like 16 decibels higher than your normal voice?
That's how we all are, man.
But that's what I feel like. Your snacks are just a random like generator of fucking syllables and vowels.
Look, say what you want. All right, French pan's a weird name, but Battenberg cake, fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, Battenberg. That's not the weird part. It's the Fran Japan.
You mentioned Jaffa cakes. If you haven't had Jaffa cakes, you need to have Jaffa cakes. It's like orange in chocolate with like sponge on the bottom. It's really nice. But it's like a well, it'd be a jam for you guys, but like jelly basically. And then I didn't realize apparently you guys don't have these in the UK. These are drinks, specifically adult drinks, also known as alcohol.
I don't think I'm bringing alcohol as a snack.
So there's a company called Whitley Neal who do different types of flavored gin and stuff like that. Really, really nice. But the one they have that's flavored over here is a Whitley Neal rhubarb and ginger gin, which is really fucking good. Really good.
What was it called?
Rhubarb and ginger gin.
Rhubarb and ginger.
But what was the brand? Like the branding called of it?
Whitley Neal.
Whitley Neal. NEI.
Whitley Neal?
Yes.
Oh my god! I thought I heard Whitney Mill.
Oh, here we go. Whitley Neal gin.
Yeah, they have so many, and all of the Whitley Neal ones are really. I have a raspberry one in the kitchen that I drink that's really nice. Off the back of that, two really nice gins if you're into gins. Sipsmith is a really, really nice gin that's distilled in the UK and is like small batch, so it's almost like a craft gin.
I do like Sipsmith.
Sipsmith is amazing, and Roku is a Japanese gin that's really, really fucking nice as well.
I also like Roku.
Don't even get Kai started on gins.
This is dangerous. Dude, also, let's hold on. Let's save this for next episode. We're gonna bring our favorite alcohol brands.
Wait, you did last time. Let Ben choose a theme.
Fuck you, Ben. You're choosing this. You started us down this path.
Okay. But before we get onto that, also, if you drink whiskey.
Oh my god,
Glenfiddich.
No. What the fuck? You're supposed to wait.
No, let me finish my recommendations.
These are not snacks.
I don't give a fuck. You can snack on fucking alcohol.
What are you, a writer from the 40s? You're like, I don't need food. I just drink whiskey and smoke.
Liquid lunch, man.
Those are the only things that give me.
If you like whiskey, drink Whitley Neal 19-year Scotch whiskey. Very, very nice. I will accept the recommendation of Kai's recommendation to be my recommendation to be alcohol.
You know what's funny is because I think last week was also supposed to be yours, and Kai took it snacks, and Kai took it this time, and he took.
You can do it next
drinks.
Unless
thank you, Kai. You're so gracious.
Unless you think of something else fun that we should recommend.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I will put this out there. Most of my recommendations will be gin because that is the sole spirit that I drink.
I too am addicted to gin, but I will try to.
I drink fruity drinks that are delicious. That's what I do.
I think that'll be good for most people.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I do like a cocktail, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you for getting to the end of the episode. Thanks for listening. As always, like we said, in the next episode, we will be covering chapters 5 and chapter 6 of the Quarry. Also, we're going to be talking about our favorite alcoholic drinks, so be excited for that. But that's it. Until next time. We'll see you later with more exciting, hopefully no more deaths or no deaths at all in the Quarry and just a bunch of life.
No deaths.
We shall see.
We already played through 5 and 6. No deaths.
Okay. See you later, guys. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.